This lord shop really had a preference for personal talent goods. Zhou could not help but think. He had only had the lord shop for a few days. How many personal talent goods had appeared already? He shook his head and stopped thinking about it. Then, he continued to look at the talent crystal. Talent. Ability to grasp situation thoroughly. Talent effect. Your observation skills are naturally incomparably subtlety. You can see everything clearly and even observe the intrinsic nature of things from the surface. Zhou looked at this talent thoughtfully. Actually, he had once chatted with Wu Xian about this personal talent out of curiosity. According to Wu Xian himself, other than giving him the abilities described above, the ability to grasp situation thoroughly also gave him very sharp intuition and the ability to quickly think and make judgments. This was even very useful in his learning of military formations. The path of military formations. What he valued the most was his ability to control the army. Ability to grasp situation thoroughly could allow him to see at a glance which part of the army was not perfect when learning military formations. From there, he could make corrections in time and quickly increase the speed at which he learned military formations. This also made him a genius at learning military formations at that time. Later on, after becoming a hero, he mastered the hero skill, desired military morale. This made him even more familiar with controlling the army. His ability to learn and control military formations had also increased significantly. Could be said that ability to grasp situation thoroughly looked very simple. However, if used well, it could completely make the owner of the talent become a cheat-like figure in terms of human heart and military morale. Thinking of this, Zhou immediately became interested in this person's talent. In terms of the human heart, Zhou had high-level telepathy and could completely see through people's hearts. This was naturally stronger than the ability to grasp situation thoroughly. However, ability to grasp situation thoroughly was still quite useful to him in terms of observation ability and the use of military formations. Zhou stopped thinking and learned directly. Zhou Chunlin smiled when he saw this and did not say anything. Learning it was equivalent to buying it. He just needed to pay for the mist core later. Zhou was soon in possession of this personal talent. There doesn't seem to be any difference other than feeling that I can notice more details. Zhou tried this personal talent for a while before feeling a little puzzled. He did not think too much about it. Perhaps this place was not suitable for this talent to be used. Then he looked at the next item. It was a branch that emitted an emerald green light. It was a diamond tier elementary grade wood elf's bloodline. Zhou shook his head. This was useless to him. At most, they could be bought to water the sacred blood flower. Then he looked at the last item. It was a skill book. Hero skill. Desired military morale. Zhou, I'm not a hero. What's the use of giving me a hero skill? My lord, why don't you take a closer look at these goods? Just as Zhou was about to question him, Zhou Chunlin suddenly smiled and said. Zhou was stunned for a moment before looking over. Hero skill. Desired military morale. Level. Special. Skill effect 1. When a hero controls an army, he can clearly sense the morale of the army under his command. He can even specifically sense the thoughts, attitudes, and moods of the soldiers regarding war. Skill effect 2. Heroes can ignore distance and communicate telepathically with the designated soldiers, groups of soldiers, and even all the soldiers under their command. Skill effect 3. A hero who has mastered the desired military morale. When controlling the army, it can make it easier for the soldiers to believe in him and the army to obey his orders. Moreover, it can slightly increase the morale of your own army when the morale of the army is low. Lord Shop hint. This hero skill book is produced in the Lord Shop. The Lord can also learn it. Ha! Zhou widened his eyes and realized that there was a notification at the end. Lords could learn it too. He could really buy this hero skill in that case. As a lord, even though Wu Xian, Bai Yun, and the other generals were in the territory and he did not need to personally go to the battlefield to command. However, as a lord, it was always good to master some ability to control the army. Moreover, with the desired military morale and the personal talent he had just obtained, ability to grasp situation thoroughly, he might be able to try learning the greedy wolf howling moon array. Thinking of this, Zhou chose to learn it immediately. Soon, he had mastered this skill. It was different from a closed door. After learning the hero skill, desired military morale, a special energy appeared in his body. Zhou could feel that this energy was specially used to activate hero skills. Let's call it the power of a hero for the time being. He tried to drive it to take a look and realized that the power of this hero could be converted with a large amount of normal energy. Fortunately, as a chaos human, not only was the energy in Zhou's body of high quality, but there was also a lot of it. The consumption of converting the power of a hero was not too high. Zhou felt the power of the hero in his body and looked at the hero skills in the skill column. He could not help but nod in satisfaction. He did not become a hero, but he mastered the hero skill in advance. There were probably not many life forms in the entire high continent who could do something like this, right? As expected of the mythical tier, the only lord talent that can compare to the king of loots. He can even do such a thing that goes against common sense. Zhou clicked his tongue in wonder. Then he looked at Zhou Qinglin. I'll buy all 3 of them. How many mist cores are there in total? He asked. Even though the wood elf's bloodline was useless to him, it was not a problem to feed the sacred blood fruit. Talent, ability to grasp situation thoroughly. Worth 50 extraordinary tier mist cores and 5 extraordinary tier territory tokens. Diamond tier elementary grade wood elf's bloodline is worth 20 diamond tier mist cores and 2 diamond tier territory tokens. Hero skill, desired military morale. It's worth 30 epic tier mist cores and 3 epic tier territory tokens. Zhou Qinglin said. He heaved a sigh of relief. The goods this time were cheap. There were actually less than 4 legendary tier mist cores in total. For a moment he was not used to it. Zhou's expression was a little strange. He took out 33 epic tier mist cores, 55 extraordinary tier mist cores, and 22 diamond tier mist cores from the heavenly mist treasure bag and handed them to the other party. Thank you for your business. Zhou Qinglin took it with a smile. If the goods are good, I'll naturally come again next time. But it would be even better if the goods were cheaper. Zhou could not help but say. This is the price set by the supreme will. I can't make the decision, old Zhou. Zhou Qinglin shook his head. Supreme will. Can the goods in the Lord shop be cheaper next time? Zhou thought for a moment and asked tentatively. He was a lord who was being watched by the supreme will. Usually, even though the supreme will would not speak most of the time, it would still answer some key questions. He did not know if the supreme will would respond to such a matter. Zhou did not have much expectations. However, in the next second, supreme will notification. The goods in the Lord shop are all based on your own value. You can't lower the price unless you have a designated discount item. Zhou was shocked. He really responded? How could he respond to such a small matter? However, Zhou thought about it and understood. After all, this was related to the Lord talent. As the existence that created the Lord talent, the supreme will would indeed answer most of the questions in this aspect. He did not ask further, lest the supreme will felt that he had too much to do. It would be bad if he ignored him. At this moment, a notification came from the marketplace. Zhou took a look and realized that the soldier-type class change certificate and other goods he had just put up had been sold. Trade result: 812,459,665 black iron tier mist cores. He had earned 8 small goals. Not bad. However, compared to the previous profit of 12.5 billion, these 8 small goals were a little boring. Zhou calmly transferred the mist cores into his heavenly mist treasure bag. My lord, there's a wounded stranger on our property. Before he fainted, he claimed that he was here to join our territory. At this moment, Baiyun came over and said respectfully, Why are you telling me such a small matter? Find someone to investigate his background. If the other party isn't a great villain, we can just put him in the Blazing Sun family. Zhou was puzzled. Reporting to my lord. This person is very strong. But he's not a hero, Baiyun said respectfully. Zhou raised his eyebrows. Someone that even Baiyun said was strong, could it be? What's his name? Where is he? Zhou asked. The other party calls himself Suin. I've already gotten someone to bring him to Bai Yuejing's place for treatment. However, Old Bai said that this person's injuries are extremely serious. It's possible to treat him, but I'm afraid it will take some time. Bai Yun said. Zhou was deep in thought. Sounds like my reputation rating talent has arrived? Has he joined our Blazing Sun territory? Zhou suddenly asked. Already in. Bai Yun nodded. Take him to the shelter of the goddess of life and get those clergymen to treat him. He must be cured as soon as possible. When he's better, bring him to me. Zhou said. Doctors were very good at treating illnesses. However, in terms of healing injuries, it had to be said that those clerics who had mastered the divine art were more useful. Yes, my lord. Bai Yun nodded and went to make the arrangements. A moment later, Bai Yun walked over with a man. The other party was thin and wore a black and red martial artist battle suit. On his right chest was the word, Scratch. His hair was messy, his eyes were blank, and there were obvious bags under his eyes. At the same time, he held a blood-colored long sword that emitted a faint blood-colored light and kept swinging it as he walked. Surprisingly, the blood-colored sword did not move much, but a visible afterimage appeared. Greetings, my lord. He's the new subject, Suin, who just joined our Blazing Sun territory. I'm Suin. Greetings, my lord. The other party followed suit. Zhou nodded and suddenly said seriously, Why did you come to see me with a sword? That's very rude. I think it's because I lost my scabbard. Suin scratched his messy head and said uncertainty. Looks like. I'm sorry, my lord. I seem to have lost my memory. I only remember that this blood shadow sword is a very important companion of mine. It can't leave my hand at all times. As for the other memories, I only remember the basics. I've forgotten most of the rest. Suin said shamefully. Amnesia. Zhou was speechless. What kind of cliché plot is this? He squinted at the other party's head. Should I bump into him again to help him recover his memories? Suin watched as his lord kept looking at his head. For some reason, he suddenly felt a chill down his spine. Seeing him like this, Zhou looked away. With his high-level telepathy, he could sense that the other party's heart was blank. Everything he said came from the bottom of his heart. It seemed that he had really lost her memory. Are your injuries healed? Zhou asked. Thank you for your help, my lord. Those young ladies' techniques are very good. I've completely recovered. When Suin said this, his eyes lit up. Zhou. Why did he suddenly feel that this person was unreliable? Then, he looked at the other party's personal information. From the looks of it, Zhou was shocked. Subject, Suin, territory, Blazing Sun City, combat class name, Knight Rakshasa, class, epic tier elementary grade, ability overview. An orphan from a destroyed empire. He was taken away by Knight Rakshasa Tower from the Knight Empire and began assassin training with other children. When he grew up, he stood out with his epic tier elementary grade strength and became a Knight Rakshasa that only a legendary tier child of the Knight could become. Later on, he was seriously injured during a mission and lost most of his memories. However, he still retained his assassination skills as a top assassin. Skills: Talent, Natural Assassin. Talent, Danger Premonition. Talent, Strong Concealment. Talent, Breathless Walking. Talent, Dragon Slaying Will. Epic Tier Elementary Grade 7 Death's Book. Yet to Master. Epic Tier Elementary Grade Blood Shadow Sword Skill. Epic Tier Elementary Grade Blood Shadow Kill. Epic Tier Elementary Grade Boundless Blood Shadow. Epic Tier Elementary Grade Child of the Knight Constitution. Fake. Epic Tier Elementary Grade Hidden During the Day. Epic Tier Elementary Grade Empty Step. Elementary Grade Epic Tier Creating an Empty Puppet. Epic Tier Elementary Grade Dark Night Screen. Epic Tier Elementary Grade Physique Strengthening. Epic Tier Elementary Grade Corpse Sorting and Preservation. Epic Tier Elementary Grade Faking Death. Loyalty 85. Potential Mid-Level Deity Advanced Grade. My good lord? Epic Tier Elementary Grade? Zhou clicked his tongue. Say no more. This must be the legendary talent attracted by his reputation rating. Otherwise, why would such a strong person come to be his subject without any requests? What surprised Zhou was that the other party was actually a dragon slayer. As the dragon slayer king, naturally, he knew that the last descendant of the dragon slayer was still surviving in this world. Some of them knew their backgrounds, and some of them did not even know what a dragon slayer was. The other party was so young. He should be a descendant of a dragon slayer. As for the Night Empire, Zhou had heard of it from Wu Tu. It was an empire-level faction more than 500,000 kilometers away from the Titan Kingdom. It was only recorded in books and very few people had seen it even in the Titan Kingdom. He did not expect this guy to come from the Night Empire. Welcome to Blazing Sun territory. By the way, how did you get here? Zhou asked curiously. I forgot, Su-Wen said straightforwardly. Zhou nodded and gave up on asking. He had probably forgotten. In a while we'll go to a battlefield. At that time you can follow me. Let's see what you're made of. Oh yes. To avoid misunderstandings. When you're with us, you'd better bring a scabbard for your sword. To avoid accidentally injuring others. Zhou said. Sure. Su-Wen nodded. Zhou smiled. An epic-tier elementary grade powerhouse would be entering the battlefield with him. It seemed that he had gained a lot from today's trip to the final battlefield. Zhou looked at Su-Wen in front of him. The more he looked at him, the more satisfied he was. Not only had Su-Wen reached the epic-tier elementary grade, but he was also the strongest person in the Blazing Sun territory. Moreover, the other party's potential had also reached the mid-level deity advance grade. One had to know that the other party did not rely on anything. In fact, his potential had reached this level without even a hero slot. It could be seen how amazing the other party's potential was. At this moment, a soldier walked over. Reporting to my lord. There's a lord at the Night Temple who wants to come and see you. He claims to be Lu Kaier. The soldier said respectfully. Lu Kaier. Zhou was stunned. She came back after meeting her teacher? He still remembered that Lu Kaier said that she would return before she left last time. He didn't expect her to really return. Zhou did not think too much about it and asked the soldier to bring Lu Kaier over. Soon, Lu Kaier arrived in front of Zhou. I'm here again, Lu Kaier said excitedly. Then, she widened her eyes and looked at Zhou in disbelief. Why are you at Diamond Tier Elementary Grade? I remember the last time I saw you. Weren't you only at the Yellow Gold Tier level? She stuttered. She had seen many experts, but she was the first to see such a huge increase in strength in such a short period of time like Zhou. I have my fortuitous encounters. Zhou smiled and did not explain further. The Supreme will really favors you guys. Lu Kaier was stunned for a moment before muttering softly. Then she didn't think too much about it. She looked at the surrounding soldiers and said expectantly, Are you going out to fight? Can you bring me along? Even though I'm not good at fighting, I'm a very powerful battlefield doctor. I can help you treat many injured people, and I don't need any compensation. Why did you do that? If you want to repay me for resurrecting you, there's no need. The Night Temple has already given me the reward. Zhou was puzzled. I'm a doctor hero after all. How many lords want me to join their territory and help them treat the injured? How can you ask me why? Lu Kaier did not understand Zhou's thoughts even more than he did upon hearing Zhou's question. The first reason why I said that is because I'm very curious about your territory. This is because in our entire human race, no human lords managed to master the method to revive others even in the empire-level human factions. However, you actually did this in such a short period of time after coming to the High Continent. Moreover, you performed very well in other aspects, so I wanted to come and take a look. Of course, don't misunderstand. I'm not here to gather information. I'm just curious. Secondly, it's about what you said. You revived me, and you seem to need help now, so I thought of coming over to help you. For me, treating the sick and injured is my specialty. Lu Kaier said matter-of-factly. The place I want to go is only accessible to my subjects. Zhou shook his head. This was the rule of the final battlefield, and he could not change it. Ah? Why is it like this? Lu Kaier was stunned. Obviously, she did not expect this situation. However, she frowned and thought for a while. Suddenly, she tilted her head and said, I'll temporarily join your territory. You can remove my status as your subject later on. Right? Zhou was stunned. Can I do that? Let me try. Zhou first added Lu Kaier to his Blazing Sun territory before trying to bring her into the final battlefield. In the end, everything went smoothly until he faltered at the last step. The final battlefield reminded him that Lu Kaier was not allowed to join for the time being because her class was too high and she had a hero slot. He couldn't even bring in external help? Zhou was helpless. However, he could only tell Lu Kaier this news. What am I supposed to do? I really want to help. Lu Kaier was also at a loss. How about this? You can stay in my territory for now. If my subordinates are injured, I will immediately send them back to the territory. You and my territory's doctor can treat them then. If you really want to find something to do, you can teach the doctors in my territory some medical knowledge. This way they can save more people. You can be considered to have helped me a lot. Currently, he had more than 600,000 soldiers under his command. Even if Bai Yun and Wu Xian activated two greedy wolf avatars at the same time, they could not completely shelter all of the soldiers. Therefore, the days of fighting without any injuries were over. The doctors and clergymen were going to be busy again. Hence, he was not wrong. Okay. I'm good at this. Lu Kaier's eyes lit up when she heard Zhou's words. She came from a famous medical family and was the personal disciple of the Holy Light Physician King. The medical knowledge she knew was something that many normal physicians could not come into contact with. Hence, she was still very confident that she could teach the doctors in Zhou's territory. Zhou nodded. After that, he informed all the Alliance members in the Star Alliance's chat group and led the soldiers to the Blazing Sun territory to meet up. They would set off for the final battlefield together in a while. The lords cheered. After the Insight defection yesterday, they had gained a lot of new troops. In addition, Insight defection had been refreshed again. Therefore, they who wanted to show off their skills were already filled with anticipation for the final battlefield. Therefore, after receiving news from their leader, they immediately began to prepare their troops to head to Blazing Sun territory. If other lords who didn't know better saw this scene, it would be hard to imagine that they were actually a group of lords who specialized in life professions and not lords who specialized in combat. A moment later, the 311 lords were all present. The number of soldiers they led added up to more than 600,000. Among them were more than 500,000 subordinates. They were all subordinates of the monster. It was the 311 lords who had turned the tables yesterday. When Zhou saw this scene, even though he was already prepared, he could not help but take a deep breath. Was this the power of the Lord Alliance? In just one day, these 311 lords had almost caught up to the total military strength of the two armies under his command. He was silent for a while before a smile appeared on his face. Establishing the Lord Alliance was indeed the right choice. This was only the result on the first day. Now, if he led these people and his own people, he would have more than 1.36 million soldiers. This was already comparable to the strength of a basic kingdom. It was even stronger than some newly established basic kingdoms. Moreover, this was only the first day. In the future, Zhou did not even dare to imagine how quickly his military strength would expand. Still, the more soldiers, the better. In this world of the Lord of all races, no lord would despise having too many soldiers under his command. Moreover, the other lords might feel uneasy because they had too many soldiers and generals under their command, afraid that the people underground would rebel and seize their power. However, Zhou would not feel that way. This was because he had peace and prosperity. No matter how many soldiers he had under his command, he did not have to worry about betrayal. This was destined to be his loyal army that had always belonged to him. At the same time, the 311 lords opposite Zhou looked at the million-strong army and were a little excited. They had never thought that as a lord, they would actually be able to see this scene today. Moreover, he was one of the protagonists himself. looking at the million-strong army in front of them with burning morale. All the lords believed without hesitation that their star alliance was the strongest lord alliance in the entire Cerulean planet. They believed this with all their heart even though it had just been established. On the other side, Lu Kaier, who had just joined the Blazing Sun territory, was also stunned when she saw the million-strong army. She could not help but hesitate. So many people, she probably won't be able to treat them in time even if she was a diamond-tier elementary grade Dr. Hero. Yeah. Send another Starry Night. No, send all of them. Zhou thought to himself. One Starry Night could hold at most 1 million of the 1.36 million troops in front of them. In addition, they needed another one to store loots. Therefore, they needed at least 3 Starry Nights for today's trip to the final battlefield. As for the other Starry Nights, he would bring them as backup. Yes, my lord, Wenye replied. Soon, 9 Starry Nights flew over and hovered above the million-strong army. Under the arrangements of Baiyun and the others, the 1.36 million troops entered 2 Starry Nights in an orderly manner. Then, the clergy, war machinery, and supplies teams, as well as the other battlefield personnel, entered Starry Night. After everything was ready, Zhou returned to the final battlefield. The final battlefield. The blood-colored sun hung high in the sky, emitting a scarlet light that illuminated the blood-colored ground. A star-like dreamy spaceship was flying and hiding in space. Occasionally, sporadic Scarlet Lord forces of all races, and some special forces would appear on the blood-colored ground below it. However, most of them did not notice the spaceships flying in space. Even if some existences noticed it, they were not interested in chasing after it or shrinking back from the extreme flying speed of the Starry Night. At this moment, buzz, 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 buzz. 9 consecutive hums sounded. Then, 9 identical Starry Night spaceships appeared out of thin air on both sides of the Starry Night. Then, they immediately activated spatial invisibility and flew at the same time as the Starry Night in the middle. In the Starry Night in the middle, Zhou sat in the main seat of the captain's cabin and looked at the chat group in front of him. Lord of the Blazing Sun. How do you feel? You don't feel seasick, right? Laughing. My lord, you must be joking. The Starry Night doesn't move at all when it flies. Who would get seasick? Spaceship experience maxed out. I'm in the cabin. I feel good. President, when are you going to start? My saber is already unbearably hungry. Ahem. Can everyone act more like life professionals? Haha, we're probably the life professionals that don't act like life professionals at all. I feel that this is quite good. Haha. The lords were all very excited and harmonious. Zhou smiled when he saw this. Yeah. How far are we from the destruction violent storm now? If we stop, how long will it take for the destruction violent storm to catch up to us? Zhou asked. He had to pay attention to the shrinking circle no matter what. Reporting to my lord, we are already 3,176,420,000 kilometers away from the destruction violent storm after a night of flying at maximum power. If we stop moving, the destruction violent storm will sweep to our location in only 10 hours. Wenye immediately reported. 10 hours is enough. Then stop, Zhou said in a low voice. Yes, my lord, Wenye replied. As soon as he finished speaking, the 10 Starry Nights stopped in unison, but they were still in spatial concealment. It shows the Scarlet Lord faction and the Lord faction of all races that you discovered during your night of flying. To showcase a faction that can be broken through by today, Zhou said in a low voice. The next second, a virtual map representing the final battlefield appeared in front of him. There was a dense red dot on it. On closer look, there were nearly 100,000 of them. These red dots were of different sizes. The larger the red dot, the stronger the power and strength. However, no matter how strong he was still within their range under Wenye's precise calculations. Zhou looked at the red dots and nodded. Then, he immediately held a Lord conference. As he shared the map with them, he told them that he was about to set off to attack the Scarlet Lord faction and the Lord faction of all races. Most of the Lord members were inclined to attack the Scarlet Lord's strength. After all, the Scarlet Lord had many more subordinates than most lords of the myriad races. With a wave of insight defection, he could also instigate more subordinates. Zhou had no objections. After all, 20% of the insight defection's military strength was his. Since they had decided to attack the Scarlet Lord faction, Zhou decided to lead his army to attack the Lord faction of all races to obtain the ranking points on them and increase his ranking level. In the last 2 days, he had to increase his ranking as much as possible. Otherwise, he might not have the fate of being the strongest lord of all races. After making up their minds, Zhou and the others immediately began to take action. First was the distribution of the Starry Night. Among the 10 Starry Nights, he distributed 2 to the Lord members and asked them to find the strongest Scarlet Lord faction to instigate insight defection to their heart's content. Among the 10 Starry Nights, he distributed 2 to the Lord members and asked them to find the strongest Scarlet Lord faction to instigate insight defection to their heart's content. He also had to bring his 760,000 soldiers to deal with the strongest Lord faction among these red dots. In one of the Starry Nights, Zhou was in a meeting with the generals. I plan to split the 8 Starry Nights into 2 parts and fight separately. I will bring Baiyun, Wu Xian, Nazario, and most of the troops with 7 Starry Nights to find the strongest Lord faction of all races and deal with them. As for the last Starry Night, I'll leave behind 50,000 yellow gold tier soldiers, 10,000 white platinum tier soldiers, 300 diamond tier soldiers, and 2 extraordinary tier generals. And you? Zhou's gaze landed on Suen, who was sitting in the corner. Suen, I'll leave this Star Knight and the soldiers to you. As a top-notch assassin, I request you to bring the Starry Night and the soldiers to hunt those non-human lords of all races. I don't need you to deal with the subordinates of those lords. You just need to deal with the lords themselves and bring their corpses back to see me. Can you do that? Zhou looked at Suen. The rule of the final battlefield was that as long as the lord died, even if the soldiers under his command were not injured at all, the lord who killed the lord could obtain all the other parties' ranking points. That was why Zhou arranged this. Of course, he also wanted to use this opportunity to see the strength of this Knight Rakshasa. Leave it to me. Facing the unfamiliar yet familiar assassination quests, a certain cold characteristic gradually awakened in Suen's blank eyes. The blood shadow sword behind him was also trembling slightly. It was as if it was excited and looking forward to it. Zhou nodded and did not say anything else. He got his subordinates to split up. As for him, he followed Baiyun, Wu Xian, and the others to hunt down the lords of all races. A moment later, above a blood-colored city occupied by a lord of all races, 7 Starry Knights were looking down at the lords below. Only creatures that could sense the power of space could discover the Starry Night. And there was clearly no such existence among the lord of all races below. Therefore, even though Zhou and company had been observing them for a while, they had not discovered them. In the middlemost Starry Night, Zhou was looking at the forces of the lord of all races through the virtual screen. A total of 26 dragons covered in pale white dragon scales and emitting pale white fluorescent light were gathered here. Every dragon emitted a terrifying dragon might that was enough to make ordinary life forms of the normal race retreat. It's actually the lord of the Light Spirit Dragon clan? I didn't expect to encounter a lord of this level as soon as I came up, Zhou lamented. The Light Spirit Dragon was a pure-blooded dragon comparable to the Lava Dragon. They were definitely amongst the top lords. However, the order he gave Wenya was to find whichever red dot was bigger. Zhou was not surprised to meet such a powerful lord. Or rather, this was the opponent he wanted. Do it. Let's get this over with. Zhou stopped thinking and said calmly. These light spirit dragons were limited by the fact that their bloodline was too high level and required too much promotion energy. Currently, the strongest lord was only at the yellow gold tier elementary grade. The others were all below the yellow gold tier elementary grade. To the current Zhou, it was not even as threatening as the territory of a white platinum tier Scarlet Lord. Yes, my lord. Baiyun and Wu Xian accepted the order. Then they immediately gathered the soldiers and flew out of the Starry Night. As they flew, 400,000 of them activated the greedy wolf howling moon array and transformed into 2 greedy wolf avatars. They landed on the ground with a bang. The remaining 300,000 soldiers landed behind the greedy wolf avatar and stared at the light spirit dragons like tigers and wolves. So what if they were enemies with the dragon clan? No matter how strong the dragons were, they had become pets under their lord. Therefore, even though they were facing such a mythical tier creature, the Blazing Sun Territory soldiers weren't too afraid. Instead, they were eager to give it a try. Not to mention, all of them had the dragon-slaying will. If it weren't for the fact that their lord had told them not to use the power of the Dragon Slayer easily outside, they would have let these light spirit dragons know where the title of Dragon Slayer came from. Hell! The 2 extraordinary tier greedy wolf avatars seemed to have sensed the soldiers' endless fighting spirit and roared arrogantly at the sky. These 2 wolf howls instantly attracted the 26 light spirit dragons in the distant city. When they saw that the 2 greedy wolf avatars actually dared to give them such a ferocious gaze, they instantly felt offended as if they had seen ants wanting to eat tigers. Roar! An extremely angry dragon roar sounded, and the 26 light spirit dragons flapped their dragon wings and flew into the sky. An even more terrifying dragon might erupted from the 26 light spirit dragons and focused on suppressing the 2 greedy wolf avatars and the human soldiers behind them accompanied by dragon roars. However, in the next second, something unbelievable happened. The dragon might that they were so proud of was actually useless against these little bugs. These little bugs only stood on the spot and looked at them as if they were looking at a dead dragon. The dragons were extremely intelligent and instantly realized that something was wrong. Then they discovered something unbelievable. The 2 tall greedy wolf avatars had reached the limit of the extraordinary tier. The human soldiers behind them were also extremely powerful. There was no lack of yellow gold tier and white platinum tier human soldiers. There were even diamond and extraordinary tier human experts. You call this a lord of all races? And a lord faction of the human race at that? Are you kidding me? At this moment, the light spirit dragons began to doubt their dragon life. They even felt that the Supreme Will had made a mistake and sent the indigenous forces of the human race to the final battlefield. Otherwise, how could there be so many human experts? Just as both sides were ready to attack. In the starry night, Zhou looked at the situation below, where the battle was about to begin. After a few seconds, he looked behind him. Nazario and Auguste were standing behind him, looking at the 26 light spirit dragons displayed on the virtual screen with complicated expressions. Can't bear to see us fight the Dragon Clan? Zhou suddenly said. The 2 pure-blooded dragons shook their heads hurriedly. You don't have to do that. Pure-blooded dragons are rare to begin with. If you encounter other dragons in your life, there's an 80% chance that you'll become friends. Now that we see so many pure-blooded dragons as our enemies below, you will definitely have some thoughts. I can understand. Zhou shook his head. Hearing this, Nazario and Auguste remained silent. Their lord's words had hit the nail on the head. However, they also understood their position and knew who they were loyal to. Therefore, even if they were enemies with their own race, they would definitely not say no. Since you're my favorite subordinates, I can give them a chance. At this moment, Zhou said slowly, you can go and try to recruit these pure-blooded dragons. If they are willing to surrender, I can spare their lives and give them the same treatment as the Blazing Sun Territory subjects. However, if they refuse to surrender, then the only thing waiting for them is death. At that time, don't blame me for not giving them a chance, Zhou said in a low voice. Nazario and Auguste looked at each other in surprise. They immediately flew out of Starry Night without saying anything and hovered in midair, roaring at the light spirit dragon below. The 26 light spirit dragons quickly discovered Nazario and Auguste. They looked a little surprised. Clearly, they did not expect 2 pure-blooded dragons with bloodlines comparable to theirs to appear in the human lord's faction. Then, the tallest light spirit dragon flew out from them and communicated with Nazario and Auguste. It was the lord of these light spirit dragons. In the following time, Nazario and Auguste kept communicating with the light spirit dragon lord. The humans on Zhou side could not understand what they were saying. Only Zhou and the other light spirit dragons, who had received the dragon race's inheritance, could understand what they were talking about. However, even though Zhou's subordinates did not accept the inheritance of the dragon race, they could tell from the increasingly obvious anger on Nazario and Auguste's faces and the increasingly loud dragon roars that the process of communication between the two sides did not seem to be going too well. As expected, in less than a moment, Nazario and Auguste broke off their negotiation. The light spirit dragon lord let out an angry and disdainful dragon roar. Then, it opened its mouth and spat out a dragon breath that emitted a scorching white light at Auguste. Light dragon breath. This was the dragon breath that belonged exclusively to the light spirit dragon. It contained a strong power of light and had an extremely strong restraining effect on the chaos series of elementals. This was obviously a great threat to Auguste, which was a spectral dragon. However, in the next second, Nazario appeared in front of it. It looked at the light spirit dragon angrily and opened its mouth to spew out a black-red destructive dragon breath that shot towards the light dragon breath. As soon as the two came into contact, the destruction dragon breath shattered the light dragon breath with absolute suppression. Then, it advanced rapidly and directly hit the light spirit dragon's lord. In a split second, the lord of the light spirit dragon was blasted to the ground and was on the verge of death. The other 25 light spirit dragons were stunned when they saw this scene. Nazario watched this scene coldly. The difference between it and the other party was too great. As the white platinum tier advanced grade dragon king of volcano and destruction, it was naturally easy for it to defeat a yellow gold tier elementary grade light spirit dragon that was not even a hero. The next second, the other light spirit dragons reacted. Faced with the absolute difference in strength, the 25 light spirit dragons were not afraid, nor did they choose to surrender. Instead, they charged towards Nazario, the two greedy wolf avatars, and the other human soldiers in a determined manner. Kill! The humans were naturally not afraid at all. The dragon slaying will roared in their souls, making them hold their arms and charge fearlessly at the light spirit dragons. Boom! The two sides collided in the blink of an eye, and then an incomparably intense battle ensued. In the starry night, Zhou shook his head slightly when he saw the battle below. He had heard and understood the conversation between Nazario and the other lord. Nazario had intentionally persuaded the other party to surrender, and it was the kind that was sincere. However, the lord of the light spirit dragon was too arrogant. It was unwilling to lead its subjects in lowering their noble heads and bow down to the human lord. It was unwilling even if the other party's strength and faction were much stronger than it. Zhou shook his head at this thought. This was the nature of pure-blooded dragons. Most pure-blooded dragons were so proud. They were unwilling to let go of their pride even if they died. This could even be said to be a personality bestowed by the Creator. So in the history of the world, very few dragons took the initiative to become subdued. The most popular stories were mostly the glorious stories of the dragon slayer warrior bathing in dragon blood. From this, it could be seen how unyielding the dragons were. Towards this, Zhou felt that it was a pity. He really wanted to subdue these pure-blooded dragons. However, as for why Nazario and Auguste were angry in the end, it was because they had said something degrading about their lord. An utter humiliation to their lord. As Zhou's deadly loyal subjects, Nazario and Auguste naturally wouldn't tolerate such words. They attacked it angrily and severely injured it. A moment later, your pet, Dragon King of Volcano and Destruction, Nazario killed a yellow gold tier elementary grade light spirit dragon lord? Lord of Broken Light, Lord of all races. Promotion energy plus 10,000. Loots condensed. Blessing of the War God. Your pet Dragon King of Volcano and Destruction. Nazario has received an additional 200,000 promotion energy points. Congratulations, Lord of the Blazing Sun, for successfully killing the Lord of the Blue Blood race. Lord Lan Yu, Lord of all races. The Lord's rank is Extraordinary Tier Advanced Grade. You have obtained 10 million plus 4,761,300 ranking points in the final battlefield. When Zhou saw the 3 lines of notifications, he could not help but smile. He actually obtained more than 14.76 million battlefield basic ranking points by killing a lord. Wasn't this much better than killing a low-level lord? How many low-level lords did he have to kill to gather more than 14 million basic ranking points? Awesome! It's indeed right to directly deal with the powerful lords. Zhou nodded in satisfaction. Then he looked at the rankings. Original Spirit Race, True Lord Rank, 13,276,252,300. Ranking on the final battlefield. First place, Chaos Gods Race, Great One Lord, level 12,611,301,000. Ranking on the final battlefield. Second, Machina Race, Lord Father, rank 12,413,907,750. Ranking on the final battlefield. Third, Cerulean Planet Human Race, Lord of the Blazing Sun, level 11.6 billion. Ranking on the final battlefield. Fifth place. These guys are not easy to deal with. Zhou took a deep breath. However, he was not too worried even though his ranking had decreased. This was because he had only made a small fuss yesterday and could be considered to have a preliminary understanding of the situation in the final battlefield. Today was the day for him to show off his skills. Now I've just taken care of the first enemy of the day. And my remaining targets are still more than 100,000. I don't believe that I won't be able to surpass you after 10 hours of hunting. Zhou was calm. He did not lose his senses just because his ranking was surpassed. If he still couldn't surpass them today, he would wait until tomorrow. His strength was increasing by leaps and bounds every day. Therefore, he was not in a hurry. A moment later, the war was over. All 26 light spirit dragons died on the battlefield. Zhou's side had also suffered heavy losses. About 5,000 soldiers had died. Fortunately, their time of death was very short. They could be revived with the small resurrection spell. Each small resurrection spell only required 10 faith divine crystals, and every clergyman could use it. Therefore, these soldiers who had died could be revived in a short period of time at a very small price. During this period, Zhou came to the Light Spirit Dragon Lord's corpse. He looked at it. A text notification appeared. Item name: Broken Light Lord's corpse, Lord of all races. Item level: Yellow Gold Tier Elementary Grade. Item effect: Contains unextracted loots. Item description: The corpse of a dragon lord from the Light Spirit Dragon race. It died on the final battlefield fighting for the position of Lord of all races. Loots drop rate: 30 yellow gold tier mist cores. Drop rate: 100%. 1 yellow gold tier elementary grade skill book. Dragon Light Spiritual Fire. Drop rate: 5%. 1 yellow gold tier elementary grade skill book. Light Spirit Body. Drop rate: 5%. 1 legendary tier advanced grade bloodline. Light Spirit Dragon Bloodline. Drop rate: 3%. 1 legendary tier advanced Light Spirit Dragon's Dragon Egg. Drop rate: 1%. 1 racial growth skill book. Advanced Light Elemental Control. Drop rate: 0.01%. 1 legendary tier advanced grade racial talent sphere. Drop rate: 0.0001%. 6 black iron tier lord talent crystal fragments. Drop rate: 0%. These loots are indeed the loots of a pure-blooded dragon. When Zhou saw these loots, he immediately became excited. He did not hesitate to extract it. Lord Talent Notification: Your loots have been enhanced by the King of Loots. Perfect Loots. Grade +1. Title hint: Your loots have been affected by the title of Strongest Lord. The number of loots has increased by 20%. Lord Talent Notification: You have obtained Perfect Loots, 36 Mist Cores, White Platinum Tier. 1 Skill Book, Dragonlight Sacred Fire. Enhanceable, Unique. 1 Skill Book, Light Sacred Body. Enhanceable, Unique. 1 Bloodline, Light Sacred Dragon Bloodline. Enhanceable, Unique. 1 Light Sacred Dragon Egg. Enhanceable, Unique. 1 race skill book, special light element control, enhanceable. 1 racial talent sphere, enhanceable, unique. 6 Lord talent crystal fragments, green bronze tier. Zhou looked at these +1 quality spoils of war and suddenly realized that something was wrong. Zhou subconsciously flipped through the text notification. It was the Light Spirit Dragon of a legendary tier advanced grade. Why did the Light Spirit Dragon bloodline become an enhanceable, unique Light Divine Dragon instead of an advanced grade low-level deity advanced grade after the +1 in quality? However, such a situation had happened before. For example, after the Scarlet Crystal's quality increased by 1, they would become higher quality Scarlet Crystals. Then, Zhou thought about the dragon inheritance in his mind and gradually recalled the origins of the Light Holy Dragon. The more he thought about it, the more shocked he became. The Light Sacred Dragon. It could be said to be the highest-ranking dragon among the Light Spirit Dragons and had an extremely high status among the dragons. The word unique at the back was also not wrong. This was because in the dragon inheritance records in Zhou's mind, there was indeed only one special dragon like the Light Sacred Dragon. In fact, a second Light Sacred Dragon would definitely not be born before the previous Light Sacred Dragon died. According to the Dragon Clan's inheritance, this was because the Light Sacred Dragon's bloodline was too high level. It could even be said to be an incarnation of the Light Rule. Therefore, even the Supreme Will could only nurture one at a time. And dragons of this unique level were even rarer than the dragon gods, so they were also called legendary dragons by the dragons and even the life forms of all races. After quality +1, it actually produced a legendary dragon for me? Zhou was shocked. How shocking was the potential of a legendary dragon? According to the records of the dragon race's inheritance, there was no upper limit to the potential of legendary dragons. Even if they only ate and drank and did not cultivate, they could at least break through to the Master God tier level. As for why they could not break through to the Supreme God realm, it was not because their potential was insufficient, but because there were other reasons. As for the reason, even the dragon inheritance in Zhou's mind did not record it. However, it was precisely because of this that, as a natural incarnation of laws, the legendary dragon race was full of treasures. Any random bone and blood could be used to create divine artifacts, true divine artifacts, and even master divine artifact-level treasures. Therefore, once there was news of a legendary dragon being born, it would attract the covetous eyes of countless existences. Even god spirits would recklessly attack crazily. Therefore, even though there were some legendary tier dragons in the world, there were almost no legendary tier dragons that actually appeared in front of life forms. Most of them were killed in advance. But even so, Zhou was also very surprised. This was a legendary dragon. As long as he nurtured it, even if he did not fight for the position of the Lord of all races in the end, a grown legendary dragon would be enough to ensure that he could protect himself and even occupy a territory to dominate. As for the threat that might be attracted by the legendary dragon, Zhou didn't care much. Was he going to give up on this legendary dragon just because of the threat it posed? Impossible. Furthermore, he was a lord of all races. He had to experience countless dangers in order to protect himself in this world of the Lord of all races. Since there was danger no matter what he did, what should he be afraid of? Just do it. Thinking of this, Zhou became completely determined. This legendary dragon, he had to raise it. After making up his mind, his gaze landed on the 2-meter-tall dragon egg that was emitting a faint white light. A text notification appeared. Pet egg name: Legendary Dragon. Light Sacred Dragon's Dragon Egg. Grade: Enhanceable. Unique. Pet egg description: Overlord race of the world, the dragon race pet egg. After hatching it with a drop of your blood, you can obtain a young, pure-blooded dragon race. Light Sacred Dragon. Note 1. The Light Sacred Dragon is a legendary dragon. Due to its uniqueness, it will be coveted by countless life forms and even god spirits once it is born. There will be endless trouble for you if you choose for it to recognize you as its master. Please consider carefully. Note 2. The Light Sacred Dragon is extremely proud and will not easily recognize a life form as its master. Note 3. The current nurturing energy is sufficient. You can incubate it with blood at any time. After reading it, Zhou's excited expression gradually faded and he frowned slightly. It won't easily recognize a life form as its master? Zhou muttered. This was a little troublesome. He did not want the light sacred dragon that he had hatched with his blood to take a look at him after it was born and run away. He frowned and thought for a while. Then, he suddenly thought of something. His gaze landed on the floating heart in the pile of loots in front of him. This heart was a meter tall and emitted a faint and gentle light energy and a faint dragon might. It was the bloodline of the light sacred dragon. Bloodline name: Light Sacred Dragon Bloodline. Bloodline level: Enhanceable. Unique bloodline effect. After absorbing it, the user can obtain the enhanceable, unique bloodline, Light Sacred Dragon Bloodline. After fusing with this bloodline, the user will gradually awaken the race ability of the Light Sacred Dragon during the growth process. Do you want to absorb it? This bloodline was of the same origin as the Light Sacred Dragon. If he used the Chaos Human bloodline to absorb it, would the success rate be higher when it recognized him as its master? Zhou thought for a while and decided on it. Regardless of whether it succeeded or not, this was the only method he could think of now. He would try it first. Without any hesitation, he placed his hand on it and silently chanted to absorb it. The next second, Zhou felt a supreme and indifferent gaze land on him. Before he could react, he was drowned by the rich power of light laws. In the eyes of the people outside, they saw their lord suddenly emit a holy white light, making them unable to look straight at him. Right on the heels of that, the holy white light gradually formed a cocoon of light that hovered in midair, enveloping Zhou within. Bang! 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 A loud and powerful heartbeat sounded, and all the surrounding soldiers of Blazing Sun City heard it. What happened? Where's the Lord? Will the Lord be in any danger? Don't spout nonsense. The Lord is blessed by the heavens. How can there be any danger? Baiyun, Wu Xin, and the other generals had already arrived in front of the light cocoon. They looked at the light cocoon with worried expressions. I can feel the Lord's aura, and it is growing stronger. Don't worry. Perhaps the Lord is becoming stronger now. At this moment, Nazario and Auguste flew over. They looked at the giant cocoon of light in surprise while consoling Baiyun and the others telepathically. Baiyun and the others finally heaved a sigh of relief. They all knew that Nazario and Auguste were their lord's pets and had gone through life and death with their lord. There was a high chance that their lord was really safe since they said that he was fine. However, what they did not notice was that Auguste and Nazario were staring at the cocoon of light with hesitation. You should feel it, right? Nazario sent a telepathic message to Auguste. I feel it. An extremely terrifying dragon bloodline is forming in this cocoon of light. A terrifying bloodline of this level is enough to make me tremble in fear just from a trace of its aura. I can't help but want to submit to it, Auguste said with a trembling voice. I feel the same way you do. Strange. In my inherited memories of the dragon race, even a yellow gold-tier divine dragon would be inferior to such a bloodline. What kind of dragon bloodline did my lord encounter? Nazario's tone revealed deep confusion. The inheritance of the dragon race was vast and profound. There were fewer and fewer things in this world that could make a pure-blooded dragon unable to find an answer. However, it could not be blamed. Legendary dragons were extremely rare even among pure-blooded dragons. A pure-blooded dragon might live for tens of thousands of years, but they might not even be able to encounter a legendary dragon. Most of the time they would only hear about their legends. Therefore, it was normal that Nazario and Auguste could not recognize the bloodline aura of the light sacred dragon. In the time that followed, Nazario and Auguste did not leave. Instead, they stayed here as guardians and quietly waited for their master to wake up. Half an hour later, crack, 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 cracks gradually appeared on the giant cocoon of light between Nazario and Auguste, accompanied by cracking sounds. Then more and more cracks appeared, growing larger and larger. A figure finally appeared. It was Zhou. At this moment, Zhou was wearing a white light sacred dragon armor with golden edges. He had a white holy crown with golden edges on his head. His body emitted a faint and terrifying dragon pressure, looking like a natural dragon saint. Zhou opened his eyes. It was a pair of eyes that emitted a resplendent white light. It looked like two suns standing in Zhou's eyes. A text notification appeared. You have absorbed one legendary dragon, light sacred dragon, bloodline, enhanceable, unique. Your chaos human bloodline has unearthed even more potential. Your sixth senses powers have been greatly enhanced. You have awakened the Master God Tier Advanced Grade Enhanceable. Chaos Human Race Talent. Chaos Enhanced Chaos Human Race Talent. You have awakened the Master God Tier Advanced Grade. Enhanceable Light Sacred Dragon Talent. Light Element Control. You have awakened the Master God Tier Advanced Grade. Enhanceable Light Sacred Dragon Talent. The Might of the Sacred Dragon. You have awakened the Master God Tier Advanced Grade. Enhanceable Light Sacred Dragon Talent. Holy Flame Dragon Breath. Your racial talent, Chaos Intimidation, Epic Tier Advanced Grade. Under the influence of the Holy Dragon's might, Master God Tier Advanced Grade, you have been promoted to Chaos Intimidation, Master God Tier Advanced Grade. Your racial talent, Chaotic Breath, Epic Tier Advanced Grade. Under the influence of Holy Flame Dragon Breath, Master God Tier Advanced Grade, you have been promoted to Chaotic Breath, Master God Tier Advanced Grade. You have grasped the legendary dragon race's secret inheritance. You have mastered the Master God Advanced Grade racial skill. Light, Sacred Dragon Armor. You have mastered the Master God Advanced Grade. Racial skill. Light, Sacred Dragon Crown. You have mastered the Master God Tier Advanced Grade Law skill. Absolute Light. You have mastered the Master God Tier Advanced Grade racial skill. Master God Level Physical Immunity. Awakening Level 1%. You have mastered the Master God Tier Elemental Immunity, 1% awake. You have mastered the Master God Tier Advanced Grade Racial Skill, Master God Level Physical Immunity, Awakening Level, 1%. Zhou looked at these skills and could not help but take a deep breath. It turned out that in the eyes of the Supreme Will, the bloodline of the Light Sacred Dragon was actually the top bloodline of a Master God Tier Advanced Grade. It was only one step away from the legendary Supreme God Realm. Zhou suddenly had an idea. According to the description in the dragon inheritance in his mind, it was not that the Light Sacred Dragon's bloodline potential could not reach supremacy, but if it wanted to reach supremacy, it could not be determined by the bloodline. This was because there was no Supreme God Realm potential life form in this world. Master God Tier Advanced Grade Potential. It was already the strongest potential that all life forms could reach. Then, he looked at these awakened abilities. Race Talent Name, Chaotic Origin Energy, Talent Level, Master God Tier Advanced Grade, Enhanceable, Talent Description 1. The Chaos humans possess Chaos Origin Energy, and can control any form of energy, including Elemental Energy, Martial Artist Internal Energy, Void Origin Energy, Blood Force, and so on. Talent Description 2. The Chaos humans possess the Chaotic Origin Energy. Chaotic Origin Energy is an all-purpose power that can drive any ability that requires any energy to operate. When Zhou saw this talent, he nodded. This talent was extremely useful to him. This was because he had too many skills now. There was no lack of skills that required other types of energy. Zhou did not think too much about it back when he was learning skills. He learnt all kinds of skills with the idea of learning as much as he could. However, the energy in his body could not be converted at any time, which caused him to have different types of energy in his body, but none of them were in abundance. Simply put, Zhou knew all kinds of abilities, but he did not use them multiple times. Zhou would not be able to use such skills again very quickly once he used these skills. This was because he had used up all the energy to activate such skills, so he naturally could not continue using them. But now that he had this chaotic origin energy, it was different. He could transform any form of energy in his body into a unified chaotic origin energy, and then use this chaotic origin energy to drive any form of skill. Be it the abilities of the chaos humans, elemental spells, blood race talents, martial artist cultivation techniques. He could even use chaotic origin energy. This was naturally very convenient for someone like Zhou who had learned a lot of skills. Furthermore, Zhou felt that this chaos human talent was not as easy as he appeared to be. Maybe this chaotic origin ability talent would have an even greater and more unexpected effect in the later parts of his development. As for the Master God Tier Advanced grade, enhanceable grade of this skill, it naturally did not mean that its power had already reached the level of a Master God Tier Advanced grade. It meant that the upper limit of its skill potential was at the Master God Tier Advanced grade. For example, Zhou had the strength of a Diamond Tier Elementary grade. He could only unleash the strength and effect of a Diamond Tier Elementary grade. However, as Zhou's strength increased, the strength and effect of this race talent would also increase. Only when Zhou grew to the Master God Tier Advanced grade would its potential be exhausted. Zhou was naturally very satisfied with this. Then he looked at the next talent. Race talent name, Light Element Control, talent level, Master God Tier Advanced grade, enhanceable. Talent description. Your cultivation talent for the light element is like the law of light descending into the world as a life form. No life form can compare to you. You can easily comprehend the skills and abilities of the light element, and even the nomological abilities of the light element. You can even easily condense the top-notch light elemental divinity when you attain legendary tier advanced grade. After Zhou saw this talent, there was only one thought left in his mind. I can become stronger just by lying down? Zhou could not help but look at this talent a few more times. Then he sighed in his heart. This race talent was too strong. With this talent, it basically announced that he had already obtained the pass to become a god. Becoming a god was a certainty as long as he did not die midway. Low-tier deity would not be his destination. With the potential of the light sacred dragon bloodline, he might even be able to reach the true god tier or master god tier. As expected of the bloodline left behind by the light sacred dragon. It was indeed strong. Zhou sighed in his heart for a long time before looking at the next talent. Race talent name, Sacred Dragon Might, talent level, Master God Tier Advanced grade, enhanceable. Talent description. As a legendary dragon, the light sacred dragon possesses a powerful dragon might that is exclusive to itself. Not only can this dragon might intimidate all life forms of all races, it can even intimidate non-legendary dragons. Moreover, the light sacred dragon's dragon might has a great restraining effect on death, shadow rays, corrosion, and other types of chaotic elementals. When facing low-level chaotic elemental creatures, it can even directly use the dragon might to kill them. It can even intimidate the dragon clan? Zhou clicked his tongue in wonder. The dragon might of normal dragons did not have much effect on their own kind, just like Nazario and Auguste. Even though Nazario was stronger than Auguste, the dragon might it released was useless against Auguste. He did not expect the light sacred dragon's dragon might to be able to deter the dragons. As expected of the bloodline of a legendary dragon. Zhou sighed for the umpteenth time. Then he looked at the next talent. Race talent name, Holy Flame Dragon Breath, talent level, Master God Tier Advanced grade, enhanceable. Talent description. One of the most powerful dragon breaths among the dragons. It comes from the legendary dragon, the light sacred dragon. It can easily suppress the dragon breath of non-legendary dragons and has a great restraining effect on death, shadow rays, corrosion, and other chaotic elementals. Zhou nodded slightly. He was a little surprised. This light sacred dragon's abilities were really targeted at chaotic elemental creatures. However, he has mastered it now. Now, he could even say that he was the nemesis of Unholy. The following Chaos Intimidation and Chaos Breath were similar to the information from the Chaos Intimidation and Chaos Breath. However, the upper limit of his talent potential had been raised to the Master God Tier Advanced grade, allowing Zhou to have 2 more racial talents that he could use for the rest of his life. Then, he looked at the next 2 racial skills. Racial skill name, Light Sacred Dragon Armor, skill quality, Master God Tier Advanced grade, racial skill description. Condense the power of the light law and form an indestructible holy dragon armor on the surface of the body. This armor can easily resist physical attacks, elemental attacks, soul attacks, and other attacks of the same level. It is also immune to light elemental attacks of the same level. At the same time, the light sacred dragon armor can increase the wearer's current physical fitness by 3 times. Racial skill name, Light Sacred Dragon Crown, skill quality, Master God Tier Advanced Grade, racial skill description. Condense the power of the light law and form a holy dragon crown on the head. This crown represents the supreme status of the light sacred dragon. The holy dragon crown can increase the power of light spells by 3 times. Moreover, when attacking chaos elemental creatures, the power of light spells will double again. Zhou nodded. Light Sacred Dragon armor was mainly for defense, while the Light Sacred Dragon crown was in charge of assisting in offensive attacks. The effects were not bad. Then, he looked at the next awakened ability. Law skill, Absolute Light. When Zhou saw this skill, he could not help but think of the Shepherd's God race he had encountered on the Lord battlefield previously. While there were very few members of the Shepherd's God race, only a handful of them in all, Zhou and his tens of thousands of troops were having a tough time fighting back them. The key was that the Shepherd's God race had grasped the nomological powers. He also had the power of the laws now. He would be more confident if he met the Shepherd's God race again. Law skill name, Absolute Light. Law skill quality, Master God Tier Advanced Grade. Introduction to the law skills. Manipulate the power of the law of light so that a certain place would be in a state of absolute light. Any chaotic elements such as death, shadow, and corrosion cannot appear in this space of absolute light. It can also be used in scarlet fog for survival and action, so that a certain range around yourself will not be invaded by the scarlet fog. Zhou looked at the description at the top and felt that it was nothing. However, his eyes widened as he continued reading. Survival and movement in the scarlet fog. Absolute light actually had such an effect. Zhou was also extremely surprised. Didn't that mean that his nights would no longer be the world of the fog creatures with this law skill? With this absolute light law skill, he could also lead an army and move at night or even engage in war. There was only one thought in Zhou's mind. A divine skill. This was definitely a divine skill for him currently. Moreover, it was a rather practical divine skill. As expected of a law skill, it had given him such a big surprise the moment it came up. As for the last 3 racial skills, Master God Tier Physical Immunity, Master God Tier Elemental Immunity, and Master God Tier Soul Immunity, the meaning was just as they described. It could allow Zhou to increase his defense against physical, elemental, and soul attacks. The effects of these 3 racial skills would continue to increase as Zhou's strength increased, until Zhou reached the Master God Tier Advanced Grade. At this moment, the effects of these 3 racial skills would continue to increase as Zhou's strength increased, until Zhou reached the Master God Tier Advanced Grade. Nazario and Auguste's physical immunity, elemental immunity, and soul immunity were only at the epic tier after all. But Zhou was at Master God Tier. The difference was too great. The bloodline foundation of the legendary dragon race was ordinary. After figuring out the benefits of his bloodline, Zhou's gaze landed on the white egg in front of him. I should be able to make it recognize me as its master now, right? Zhou thought. He looked hesitant, but in the end he decided to give it a try. He stretched out his right hand and placed it directly above the white egg. Then he willed. Drops of blood essence seeped out from his right index finger and landed on the surface of the giant egg. At this moment, Zhou's powerful 6 senses almost immediately sensed that there was an ignorant and powerful soul in the huge egg. It was the soul of the unborn light sacred dragon. In the beginning, he could sense that the light sacred dragon refused to absorb his blood essence to recognize him as its master. However, in the next moment, a surprising scene appeared. The light sacred dragon's soul seemed to have sensed that Zhou's blood essence seemed to be very close to its aura, like the blood of an elder of its race. This made it involuntarily feel a sense of intimacy with the owner of the blood. The light sacred dragon had yet to be born, and its consciousness was still not very clear after all. It would follow the guidance in its bloodline and reject the request of an unfamiliar life form without hesitation. However, When it realized that the owner of the blood should be very close to it, it immediately let down its guard and intimately accepted Zhou's request to recognize it as its master. Then it prepared to come into being. In reality, crack, 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 the sound of eggshells shattering could be heard. A mighty dragon with a pure white crown on its head and a body emitting a faint white light walked out of the eggshell in no time. It was born 4 to 5 meters tall. The first thing it saw when it came out was Zhou. Its pale golden dragon eyes suddenly lit up, and it roared excitedly. Zhou understood the dragon language and knew that the other party was calling him master. Zhou smiled and said telepathically, "Eat the eggshell first." The eggshells of dragons contained substances that were closest to the source of their bodies. Eating the eggshells was very beneficial to any dragon, even if it was a legendary dragon. When the light sacred dragon heard this, it nodded obediently. Then it turned around and went to its eggshell, obediently eating it. Zhou took this opportunity to look at the other party's attributes. Pet, Ingersoll, race, legendary dragon, light sacred dragon, growth stage, infancy, strength level, yellow gold tier advanced grade skills, holy flame dragon breath, holy dragon might, divine body of law light, law skill, absolute light, detect chaos, chaos suppression, light judgment, dark energy burning, holy rescue, holy dragon judgment cannon, draconic magic mastery, light elemental magic mastery, light sacred dragon armor, light sacred dragon crown, master god tier elemental immunity, awakening level 1%, master god tier physical immunity, awakening level 1%, master god tier soul immunity, awakening level 1%, potential, master god tier advanced grade, world limit, loyalty, 100, dead loyal, personality, calm, sense of justice, sweet tooth, lively, kind, sympathetic to the weak, pet description. A legendary dragon among pure-blooded dragons, a unique existence in the myriad worlds. It holds the ultimate power of light. In terms of potential, it can be called one of the incarnations of the law of light in the myriad worlds. Zhou's eyes widened as he looked at the list of stats. Good God! There were so many powerful skills in the skill pane. The most ridiculous thing was that this guy was born at yellow gold tier advanced grade. When Nazario was just born, it was only a green bronze tier elementary grade. Zhou thought of Nazario's slow upgrading process and how he had to consume a calamity crossing spirit pill to become a yellow gold tier advanced grade. He could not help but feel jealous. This light sacred dragon was so talented that it made humans jealous. But then he realized, what was there to be jealous about? No matter how talented the light sacred dragon was, it was still his pet now. Thinking of this, Zhou smiled. Other than that, what surprised Zhou was that this little guy actually had its own name as soon as it was born. Ingersoll. It sounded quite handsome, unlike Nazario and Auguste, whose names he had given. At the same time, Nazario and Auguste were also staring stiffly at the light sacred dragon, Ingersoll, which was eating the eggshell. The two pure-blooded dragons received a notification from their bloodlines and got to know the other party's identity the moment it walked out of the eggshell. The legendary dragon race. Even the dragon god would have to be respectful to an adult legendary dragon if it was alive. Once a legendary dragon grew up, its strength was enough to be called the strongest foundation and backing of the dragon race after all. Dragons had also experienced several crises over the ages. When the dragon god could not resolve a crisis of this level, it was a legendary dragon like the light sacred dragon who appeared and saved the entire dragon race. They never expected that the dragon their lord had encountered was actually the legendary dragon. Moreover, he had even taken it as a pet. Their lord's body was actually emitting the aura of the dragon bloodline that was almost of the same origin as this legendary dragon. This made them both shocked and puzzled. Wasn't there only one legendary dragon in the myriad worlds? Why did they sense the bloodline aura on his body? The two dragons wanted to ask, but they were too embarrassed to say it, because they knew that this might involve their lord's secret. At the same time, Zhou looked at the light sacred dragon, which was eating the eggshell, and had similar doubts. He thought for a moment and got someone to bring over another ordinary light spirit dragon's corpse. He looked at the light spirit dragon's corpse and realized that its spoils of war were exactly the same as the light spirit dragon lord's. It was just that there were no Lord Talent crystal fragments. Zhou placed his hand on it and extracted it. Lord Talent notification. Your loots have been enhanced by the King of Loots. Perfect loots. Grade +1. Title hint. Your loots have been affected by the title of Strongest Lord. The number of loots has increased by 20%. Lord Talent notification. You have obtained perfect loots, 36 mist cores, white platinum tier, 1 skill book, Dragon Light Spiritual Fire, yellow gold elementary grade, 1 skill book, Light Spirit Body, yellow gold elementary grade, 1 bloodline, Light Spirit Dragon Bloodline, low tier deity advanced grade, 1 Dragon Egg, low tier deity advanced grade, 1 race skill book, Special Light Element Control, enhanceable, 1 race talent ball, low tier deity advanced grade. Zhou looked at the pile of loots in front of him and shook his head. As expected, the light sacred dragon's spoils of war would only drop once. Even if the other light spirit dragons were exactly the same as the light spirit dragon lord's spoils of war, after the quality of the King of Loots increased by 1, it would only increase by 1. He did not obtain a more intrinsic improvement. So, there can indeed only be one light sacred dragon. As for the light sacred dragon bloodline in my body, it's only a bloodline. I didn't become another light sacred dragon. I'm still essentially a chaos human. Zhou thought to himself. He felt that his deduction should be correct. Then he stopped thinking and looked at the other loots. Skill name. Dragonlight Sacred Fire. Skill quality enhanceable. Unique. Skill description. Extreme Light Flame. It contains a trace of the holy flame power from the light sacred dragon. It has a great restraining effect on death, shadow rays, corrosion, and other chaotic elemental creatures. Skill name. Light Sacred Body. Skill quality. Enhanceable. Unique. Skill description. After using it, one can have a special physique. Light Sacred Body. The light sacred body has an extraordinary talent in the light elemental laws and can be said to be the favorite of the light laws. Moreover, the owner of the light sacred body can easily reach the limit of ordinary life forms. Legendary tier advanced grade. There is even a chance of becoming a god. Racial skill name. Special Light Element Control. Skill quality. Enhanceable. Unique. Skill description. After using it, the user will have extraordinary learning talent for the light element. Moreover, they will have the ability to control the light element that is comparable to a master. The light element will be like a toy on the tip of the finger to the user. The user can perform all kinds of unbelievable operating techniques.